Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm Jason from Walrus Audio, and this is
Colt
from
Westbrook from same place.
Cool, same place. That's Walrus Audio as well.
Right
We're here
here
to talk about a new addition, a new tool in the toolbox in the Canvas Power line.
From the labs of Walrus Audio that brought you the Canvas Power 22, we're bringing you the
Canvas Power USB. We had this desire to come up with this tool that people could add to their arsenal of pedal power supplies to allow you to power a pedal with a USB power delivery power supply.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so a few different use cases for this might be One, you have this that lives on your studio desk or in your office or at your house somewhere that's always connected to a cell phone charger or a laptop charger that you may have kind of readily available, and that gives you a pedal power output ready at all times on your desk that you can just plug in a pedal. You don't have to dig out a power supply. You don't have to dig out power bricks, have those plugged into the wall. You've already got those on your desk. You already have them around in your bag. So that can be plugged in and ready to go.
That's great.
To power a single pedal. You can also have that same scenario and have a single pedal power output provided by the Power USB, but then link an additional supply, so say a Power 5, and you could have 6 pedal power outputs sitting on your desk at all times. Because this can power the rest of your Canvas power supply ecosystem via the link output.
That's cool.
3. You have the Canvas Power USB on your, the burrito truck is here.
The burrito bell.
Yeah.
The burrito horn. Burrito horn is a great band name.
3. You could have this, the Power USB under your pedal board and connected to the rest of your pedal board power supplies, whether that be a single unit like the big Power 22 or a couple of different units that you've got put together to power your entire board. This would go first in the chain. You can plug your power brick into the input here that's attached to your pedal board. You can also run your entire pedal board off of a USB PD supply, like a cell phone charger, a laptop charger, or a USB PD battery pack. So that would allow you to make your entire pedal board powered without any exterior cables.
Man, you know who's gonna love this?
Who's that?
Everybody.
Oh, I thought so. I thought you were gonna say everybody. Turns out you did.
Yeah. 4. Is there 4?
Why don't we take a look at some scenarios with them actually on pedal boards and see how it kind of all works together with the rest of the Canvas Power ecosystem.
I like that idea.
Cut. Okay, let's take a look at how we would integrate the Power USB into a normal pedal board environment. So we've got Tyler's pedal board here. He's put together. We'll flip this around and take a look at what he's got going here. He's got a Power 8 and his power brick here that he would normally be using plugged in. So we are going to modify this and add the Power USB to his rig. So we'll pull the cable out from the brick of the Power 8. That'll go into the input of the Power USB. We'll place that next to the Power 8, and then we'll come out of the link output of the Power USB, and we'll run into the input of the Power 8. So now he can use the board exactly how he did before. He can plug into the brick, it goes into the Power USB, and that flows in and powers the entire pedal board via the Power 8. This also allows him to use a USB PD power source like a high power cell phone charger, a laptop charger, or a USB PD battery pack.
So basically, this is hybriding your rig.
Write that down.
You like that?
Yeah.
To where I can power my pedal board with 3 different power options. So the traditional way with the power brick and the IEC cable.
Plugged into the wall, yeah.
Now I can use an external battery pack.
Mm-hmm. A USB PD battery pack.
And I can just use like a laptop charger.
Yep, just any traditional USB PD power brick, like your cell phone charger or a laptop charger, things like that, can plug right into the Power USB, and that will power the entire system.
That's great. It's like your board can go camping because it's prepared for everything.
So if you lost your IEC cable, if you're in a scenario where you've already got that USB PD brick plugged in, maybe at your desk or something, you can just grab that cable and plug it right in here, and that'll power the whole system.
Cool.
Or you can use something like a USB PD battery pack, which I have one here that has this fun retractable cable.
Let's make it light up.
And then we can just plug that right into the front of the power USB, and the entire system powers up. And we can flip it over and see that the whole board is now running powered off of this little guy. This battery pack happens to have, show us like our battery percentage. It shows us our current power draw that's fluctuating as he's turning pedals on and off, which is kind of fun. We're drawing 12 watts of power right now from this particular pedal board. And so you might ask, how long will a pedal board run on a USB PD battery pack? The answer to that is it's completely dependent on what pedals, how many pedals you're running, what size battery pack you're using, things like that. So it'll take a little bit of experimenting to know how long you can run, but we'll talk about another pedal board that I've done some testing on here in a second. But this kind of gives you an idea of how quickly and easily you can integrate the power USB right into your pedal board system and power it straight off a battery pack. So we've got this small USB PD battery pack here, which will easily run the entire pedal board for quite some time, long enough for a gig. But say you want some more power, you can just switch to a larger USB PD battery pack, plug that guy in, plug that guy in, there it is.
Found it.
Yep, and then same thing. So we're powering our entire pedal board. And this will run longer with the same set of pedals just because we have a higher capacity battery pack. These are great. You can easily just Velcro these right underneath your board. Most of them have a switch that you can double click or click some gesture to turn the battery pack on and off. So we can leave this attached to the board with this switch exposed on the side or the rear. And then if I click this, I can turn the battery pack back on, the whole board turns on. So it's a solution that makes it really convenient just to grab your pedal board out of the case, throw it down, click the button, and you're up and running. No, awesome. No power cables necessary. So. So thought we'd take a look at just another pedal board scenario where I've got this already integrated awesome. Into my board that I've put together here. Keep this at home, play gigs with it, etc. So we've got a USB PD battery pack. We just reach in and click it on, powers the whole board up, and we flip it around. You can see how I've got this integrated in here. I've committed on this board to only run it off of a USB PD battery. So high capacity battery here, plugged into the power USB. And then that's plugged into a power 15 in the case of this board, powering the whole thing, that has several high current draw pedals on it. It handles it with no problem. Another thing to know about the power USB is if you did have an IEC power brick that came with your power supply, you would still connect that to the input here. You could, and have that on your board so you have both options, USB PD power supply or IEC cable connected to the wall. Mm-hmm. And the power USB will always prefer or default to the IEC input if it's present. That keeps the load off of your battery that you might have running. And then if you happen to unplug your IEC cable from the power USB or the IEC power brick, it will switch over and use power from the power delivery battery or power delivery supply that you have connected at the same time.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
There's also a nice little power meter on the power USB that is only showing you the power draw from the USB PD supply, so you can kind of get an idea of where you're at, if you're on the edge of kind of its capability, because they come in all different shapes and flavors in terms of power output. You'll know if you're starting to be reaching the limit of that particular USB PD power supply you're using, whether that be a battery or a brick, things like that. So,
how do you guys think of the R&D team? How do you guys dream up these products?
This was born out of my desire to run pedal boards off of a battery, really. And in the world of USB PD, there's so many options now. That's become just industry standard that we designed this product that will allow a lot of different PD style sources to power it. And then we allow that to then power via the link output any pedalboard power supplies that you might be using from the Canvas line, or other brands as well that allow a 24 volt EIAJ input.
Okay, so with this setup right here, how long do I have to play?
Yeah, so after building this out and using it with this particular battery pack, I've seen that we can run this board, I can run this board for around 4 hours straight of combined on time, use time for this particular pedal board. Again, that's going to change depending on how many pedals you have, what each pedal's power requirements are, but this is a pretty typical setup. It's a pretty power kind of heavy setup for its size, and this battery will run this thing for around 4 hours of combined runtime.
Good for a Wilco set.
Yeah, it would cover a Wilco set, would cover
fish.
Fish, yeah.
Cover a fish set. Grateful Dead.
Definitely.
Cool.
So there's two things that you need to look for when you're considering a USB PD supply for powering your Canvas Power USB and your entire pedalboard system. That would be the minimum power output and ensuring that it is actually USB PD compatible.
What does PD stand for?
Power delivery. So that's a USB power standard that is now everywhere in the market. But there's a lot of different flavors of that. So you need to make sure that your supply is in fact power delivery compatible, and then it can supply a minimum of 30 watts.
30.
And that will be advertised on the brick or the battery that you might be looking at.
Yeah.
And those come in various forms of capacity. So this battery I have is on the larger side, but they certainly get larger than that, and that would just allow more runtime for your pedal board. If we had a larger pedal board, for example, we may want a larger battery so that we could get a similar runtime from a larger pedal board. But they also go down in size from there. So say you only need, maybe 2 hours of runtime, you could easily run a smaller USB PD battery pack and get the same experience with just less runtime, but with a smaller device.
An Imagine Dragons set, maybe 90 minutes.
Man, okay. So hey, thanks for hanging out with us and learning about the Canvas Power USB and how you can integrate this into your rig. We hope you find it a really useful tool to add to your arsenal of pedalboard power supplies, pedal power supplies, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. We'll see you real soon.